In today's hot video, we will face the super charming service robots and the reckless athletic robots, which are more eye-catching than any advertisement. Although Mr. Peanut means no harm, he mistakenly attacks robots as lost ones. Who knew they'd always cause trouble? It seems that even robots find their uncontrolled friends quite annoying, although Mr. Peanut really doesn't mean to pick a fight with them. He's not thrilled about humans' arrival, as it gives excuse to break the treaty, like losing a toy. After the big battle, the once fighting warriors became utterly useless, and most of those left actually just want peace. Mr. Peanut decided to escort them 15 kilometers deep into the desert and see if they could fend for themselves. After all, the service robots here still want to lend a hand. Unfortunately, resources here are scarce, and there just isn't enough food to go around since robots really don't need it. About the doctor, Mr. Peanut didn't hide anything. He came but was chased off. Did you want him to bake in the desert? He figured that signing the peace agreement was because he recognizes robots as a group, and everyone deserves equal rights and freedom. You guys have no idea what it feels like for your right to exist to depend on a piece of paper. It's as fragile as a bubble. That's why I won't let anyone threaten our existence. Michelle indignantly said, but that doctor is a kidnapper. He took my brother's body. How can you treat us the same? This point isn't without merit, but Michelle was tired of all this nonsense and replied, do you really think this is something special? You're just like everyone else. Mr. Peanut was left speechless. Could his actions be no different from those humans he spoke of? Late at night, Michelle was still pondering how to find. Suddenly, a wandering robot arrived and said the doctor had secretly given him a letter to pass on to Chris before he left. The letter said the doctor hopes Chris will visit him in Flat Mountain, far in the quarantine zone, not nearby. In the current wild landscape, it's hard to reach. Michelle sought help, but the lady said she broke a major rule. She really didn't dare to get involved further, but at that moment, Mr. Peanut unexpectedly walked in. He offered to help them find Chris' body, which surprised everyone. They hopped into a hilariously quirky peanut car and zipped through the desolate desert. They dodged the wandering lost robots everywhere and finally arrived at Flat Mountain, and in front of them stood an amusement park. Everyone thought the doctor would be safe here, but little did they know that more dangerously lost robots had gathered. They were so ferocious that it made one doubt if any humans could survive here. Just when they felt trapped, the amusement park lights suddenly blazed to life, followed by powerful sound waves blaring from the speakers, disrupting the lost robots' movements. Then, the haunted house floor collapsed suddenly. They were transported to the basement, where the doctor they had desperately been searching for lived. The doctor seemed quite surprised. Michelle rushed to ask the doctor where her brother's body was, only to receive a shocking secret. Turns out, at the end of the robot war, humans faced defeat, and all resources went to the conflict, including humans. They discovered Chris' brain was as unique as alien tech, and Sket used it to create an all-encompassing network. This neural projection won them the all wars. Chris was gravely injured, yet the doctor never expected him to wake up. But millions of years later, he regained consciousness. The doctor felt guilty. The war had ended long ago. He hoped Sket would release Chris, but Sket threatened him with death. He had no choice but to secretly modify ChrisLink. Chris' consciousness escaped through the network, not just projection anymore. He was now a full-fledged robot. The doctor brought him here for him to live like a robot. Michelle demanded that the doctor return to the company to help her reclaim her brother's body, but the doctor thought this was an impossible task. But before they could discuss further, another unexpected attack arrived. The flimsy tin foil crumpled like cardboard under the laser guns, and then met suits with propellers came plummeting. These were the security forces sent by Sket. While this didn't align with the treaty, he couldn't be bothered with that now. Since Chris' consciousness escaped, Sket's network has frequent failures, lasting just a few days. By then, all consciousness projectors would be rendered useless, and his commercial empire would collapse. This shows just how vital Chris is to him. During the battle, Mr. Peanut's hat was yanked off by the Colonel, but luckily he survived. It was unequal, and the Colonel didn't use lethal force. He stood in front of the Colonel to protect the siblings. As a soldier, the Colonel wouldn't take innocent lives, but Sket had no such qualms and shot the traitor without a second thought, making the Colonel extremely displeased. How can you shoot your own people? After Chris was captured, he unceremoniously saved Michelle, and after the fight ended, the mall was left in ruins, the leftovers from the raid among the ruins, with a few surviving remnants looking tattered. A sad atmosphere loomed over every corner. Mr. Peanut believed freedom wasn't granted, it had to be fought. He resolved to help Michelle save her brother and, while he was at it, to take down Sket's business empire. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Chris was brought back to the company, and Sket immediately ordered his men to restrain him. To relocate his consciousness, the Colonel found the chased robot was a kid. He accused Sket of being a villain, but Sket felt no remorse. He said, if it weren't for me and this kid, humanity would have turned to Thessalonica. The Colonel was speechless until Chris' consciousness returned, revitalizing Sket's network instantly. Meanwhile, outside the company building, a submarine slowly surfaced, and then a car zoomed past. It crashed spectacularly into the company building's windows. It looks like the robots' rebellion is finally about to begin.